Welcome back, all my 40k fanatics out there. I'm DJ here with Tim's Nation, bringing you another Warhammer 40k battle report because Lane's been beating me up lately. Like this devastating, the Dev Watch, as we've been calling it, with all his devastating wins, been beating me up that I don't really know what's going on with Necrons. So I went and grabbed an Orc player. That's what you need to do. When you need to test the list, you grab an Orc player because it goes one of two ways. Either you get to kill a lot of guys, or you make them feel real good because they just run you over. And today I got a good friend that I finally got on the channel because he had to travel so far.
Like a mile and a half, I believe.
Just it only takes a blizzard to get him to come out. It's a blizzard.
He's not wrong.
The nicest, cleanest, clearest days, he's busy. But then a snowstorm and a blizzard that they're shutting down roads and highways, and he makes it over here. Kevin, thank you for making it out tonight. Welcome to the channel. And you brought some Orks for us today.
I did. I brought a very high-pressure list today. It's going to be very exciting. And as you may know, Orks are all about getting in there. You know, I think DJ was wrong. They love to kill Orc boys. I love to watch them die. It's exciting for both players. I love watching these models leave the field, but I still love to see victory.
Awesome. Yes, very much so. And guys, as always, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on the bell to get notified on all the content that we try to bring you here on the channel. And before we jump over the list, I got a special little introduction to this game. So many, many times back, Kevin is notorious for leaving models at my house, whether he wants to or not. And way, way back in the day, this little Grot, it's Grot in a cage, was left here. And I've taken this to a tournament as my lucky Grot. This is my Makari. And that was the establishment of him earning back his own model is that he has to defeat the Necrons because he left it here in a game against the Necrons. So today,
it's been a few years.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while. Like anytime we get a game and we play the Necrons,
he's always on the line.
So but today they beats me with Custodes, beats me with other armies, but it's not Orcs and it's not against the Necrons. So today is the day that we will be able to put this on the line and see how this goes. And speaking of which, I think that's a good point to segue. Let's go over and talk about these lists that we're bringing today. So Kev, you're bringing Orcs. There's a lot of gray. He's testing. This is testing out a lot of stuff that we're integrating in some of the lists and designs that he's been talking about.
Will be quickly fixed.
Yep. But it takes some time. Takes some time, getting the models ready. So, Kevin, why don't you tell me what you got and what you're bringing today?
Well, I'm bringing a mix of Squighog, Warbikes, Gaz, the boys, Grots. It's a very high-pressure list. All we're supposed to do is to make sure we're there. We're doing set secondaries, which is very important. We're doing cleanse, okay, and we're doing teleport beacons. So we're just going to be pushing in the whole time, working on making sure I block out all vision, so everything should be looking great. Gaz will make sure he'll be the counterpunch, sit in the back with 2 Mega Knobs. That's his job. I'll also be doing this in a mix of what I'm facing today. So I can either have one truck, so I can either put the Beast Boys in there or the Knobs. Most likely the Knobs. Or I can bring the Knobs in or the Beast Boys after one departs. So that makes sure you have a push moving on multiple phases. You have, of course, the Squighog boys moving on each side. I have one character for them just to make sure they are handled. There's a lot of toughness, a lot of movement. These are basically Eldar bikes moving across the board. One of the most important things is the banner. This guy is a very support character, but what he does is he does let the unit he's with have an extra early WOG. So that way they can advance charge early. Oh, you're going to put them with the War Boss who has the enhancement, so +2 movement. This unit's going to be moving 12 inches out even before they really advance and charge. These guys are really moving. And nothing's outside this threat range or doing teleport beacons between the Storm Boys, 2 units, and of course the Battle Wing, as I said. A lot of things can be shoved in there and made sure to protect and just really come out and do what it needs to do. Everything else is just about securing points, pushing it as hard as possible, and really putting that pressure on early. Our goal is to overrun as quick as possible.
All right, so as many of you know, I've been running the Hypercrypt Legion. I made a couple tweaks from my last mission. I wanted to keep this most of the same because I liked how it performed. I felt like I played it wrong and was too aggressive early. So the staples that we've already seen that have been in this list. I still have the Locust Heavies, except I've gone up to 1 3-man and a 2-man. We still have the 2 5-man squads of Immortals that are going to be led by Chronomancers for all their tricks. But now we're bringing a 10-man squad of Immortals that's going to be led by a Plasmancer. He will also have the Relic that allows, anytime they return to the table, they will have full rerolls to hit. So we're looking to pop off with a bunch of crazy amounts of sustained wounds. We still have our race led by our Technomancer with your auto advance 6. And we will also have Trazen, because everyone loves Trazen. He's still going to be with the Lich Guard to escort them across the table and try and sticky some objectives along the way. 2 3-man squads of Ophidians are still in the list to give me some extra units to be able to pull off the table. And we will also have our 2 Catans. One is going to be the Nightbringer because he just wrecks things, as well as the Transcendent Catan, who can teleport around the table to give me a couple extra advantages, little extra deep strike, and some stuff like that. So it's been a while since we played.
It's been a minute.
How comfortable are you feeling with 10th edition? Let's be honest.
I'll be honest, I am not, but I've got 2 major tournaments this month. It's the 2024. It's time to start back up and really push.
And where are you heading out to? What are some of the... Let's give a shout out to some of the game players. Where are you really heading out to?
We've got Recess tomorrow.
That's out in North Olmsted, Ohio.
North Olmsted, a 2,000-point tournament. And I believe I'm a mentor the week after for a team tournament for a double. So each person has 1,000 points.
It's funny that you should mention that.
And we're hoping to represent that. Of course, I know DJ.
I'll also be at North Coast Games in Mentor for the team tournament, bringing some great nights in action in there, which I'll be featuring on Monday. For those of you guys see, I'll be playing them against Lane to get a little bit of practice and warm myself up to my great nights. Good old silver greater than gold. Always here on the channel, silver is greater than gold.
Wow.
Now, we have a tradition on the channel. Since the deployment, the tables are pretty even.
They are
It
even.
only really comes down to the fact of who will deploy first. So we do it as a simple roll-off of an odd or even. And this big boy. Oh, no, I roll it.
You roll
declare.
first?
Oh, no. What rolls my dice? No.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Odd or even.
It's going to be even.
Oh, call it on the floor. It is. That is
Even.
a 2. That is a 2. I will pick it up. It is a 2. It is even. So you get the choice if you want to deploy first or second.
I will go ahead and deploy first.
You're going to deploy first.
I know it's fun.
Wow, that's weird. All right, guys. Well, you heard it here. We'll be back after deployment.
Okay.
All right, we are deployed. So, Kev, why don't you talk to us a little bit about what we are doing today?
So today the primary mission is take and hold. The deployment is sweeping engagements. And then, of course, the main mission, of course, with that is supply lines. That is what we're doing today.
Right. So basic, real simple, easy. Primaries, hold 1, 5 points, hold 2, 10 points, and hold 3 for the big 15. And then our mission, we can get a little bit of extra CP, which really helps you out because you won't have any cards to discard since you're just sticking on your fixed secondaries for this.
You know, that is the intention of it. That is how we score points. That is how we are consistent in winning.
All right, so let's look at some deployments. So for the Necrons, he's got a really fast threat range, and especially being able to basically double wall almost. Not with the whole army, but with parts of it. So I don't want to make anything too easy. So we're going to hang out back here. We're going to kind of use the Catans to shield us out and protect that if he decides he wants to try and make some of those pushes and advances and stuff, there's a Catan sitting in his face. And then everything else is hiding back because of the Hyper Cryptek Legion and being able to pick up like I can. It allows me to stay in the back and hide out a little bit and try and be safe so I can burn a couple of turns and make Kevin have to start moving around the table to give me some plan. The Wraiths are in position, though, to be able to snag that objective since they're a very fast unit, and again, they have that auto advance 6. So, very simple play. The only one that's kind of on the outside is these Locusts. I didn't want to put them back in the corner too and double up on it. I want them to be able to get access to shoot at something else, but, you know, again, Hyper Crypt, I can pick them up. All right, Kev, what do you got for me? What are you doing?
What am I doing? Well, I'm just going to push on objectives, bait you out. You have to come towards me. I'm going to be trying to push on objectives, clear my secondaries with Cleanse. It's such a good secondary because you get 5 if it's fixed. So I'm just trying to hold you off secondaries, bait you out so I can come in with the full wad and just wipe you with the green tide.
Yep, and then like you said, you have, so talk to us a little bit. What is inside of what?
So inside the battle wagon, we have 19 boys, a Tulip War Boss who has the enhancement of Follow Me Lads, so he gets +2 movement on the whole unit, with the banner, so I get a clear WOG, as DJ mentioned earlier, just on that unit. So that unit can come out of there, move, advance, and charge with a +2 movement, and maybe I'll split a stratagem, so they get +2 movement on their advance and charge, just giving them a huge 20+ threat range.
Now, just to clarify one thing with you, because you're doing fixed, you actually score 4 on Cleanse, not the 5. Yes. Yeah, it's when you draw it, if it's tactical, That's when you get that extra.
Flying wrong by that point. That is correct.
But it's still good because you know what you're going with the game plan early, and because Orks have a lot of units at their disposal, that allows you to kind of do that stuff. And
you're just pushing up. We're making you come out. I can't have Necrons as they used to do, hide in the corner and score 100 points. They gotta come to me.
Right.
And there's
Back
no
in
more of
the
the shenanigans.
back in our day. All right. So with this being said, now we only have one thing left to do, and that's roll to determine who wants to go first. But Kev, how do you feel? Would you prefer the first or second?
I prefer second.
You prefer second?
I always build to go second.
So would I, because of how some of the hypercrypt functions. So all right, let's roll in the box and see what we got. Hey, looks like you will be going first, and it's kind of tough to see. That is a 4. And so we will be back after the Ork turn.
Very easy first turn. As you see, just the Orks moved up. There's an even note, even shooting. We're just setting up for that turn 2 wog, if required, even to turn 3. We're just trying to bait him out, make sure he comes to me, holding all the objectives in the center, securing 6 points in my secondary. So we should be doing great. Everything's kind of lining up for a big, heavy hit turn 2. It's going to be fun.
All right. So for my turn, I drew Cleanse and Storm Hostile Objectives. So Cleanse I wasn't too confident on. I figured I could pitch it for a command point, but I was like, all right, Storm, I can get 5 on this pretty good. And I did. So what we did was we picked up the Immortals, and we also picked up 2 Ophidian squads. The Ophidians didn't really do anything. I just put them back down because I didn't get like engaged or anything like that. And then the Wraiths moved up. So for the most part, most of my backfield units just kind of repositioned. I got this Catan in position to be able to help and vaporize the Warbikes in the middle for a Storming Hostile. And then I stretched out this squad so I could tag both objectives to be able to now make it that Kevin is going to only score a 5 on primary in his turn. And then over here, the Wraiths just absolutely ran over the Gretchen because, well, that's what Grots do. So all in all, I'm happy with the turn. I scored a 5 and then discard for a command point, and also making a little bit of a speed bump here and stopping Kevin from scoring too heavily on primary in the early get-go when he has most of his resources they can sacrifice and things like that. Oh, the Locust Heavies over here also. They put shots over here into the bikes to be able to put down to just the knob left with 2 wounds remaining with the Immortal shot in there. Had the Immortals not needed to shoot to stop him, I probably would have cleansed. All right, that's it for my turn. We're going to pass it back over to Kevin and his Ork turn 2. All right, so closing out the Ork turn, a lot happened here. So once again, Kevin is on fixed secondaries. So cleanse and deploy teleport homers were the option. That was what was being done with the Storm Boys over here, as well as the Storm Boys over here. Almost seems like they're in the list for a purpose. Is that right, Kevin?
That is, of course, correct.
Now, this truck over here got fancy with it and ran up on center and deployed teleport homers in the center. So he's going to score a 6 on secondary again. As far as the primary is concerned, Kevin was able to push me back to a 5 as well. Right here, he did pop that additional wah with the banner over here and rushed in here, picking up the Ophidians by tagging them after the charge and beating up on some of the Wraiths. Wraiths still around, but they're hurting pretty bad. And then over here, those Immortals that were strung out, they never stood a chance. They never stood a chance. But hey, they did their job, which is what's most important. So that's going to be it. We're going to pick up the squad of Ophidians.
And before we end the phase, I want to reiterate, in that truck is a full 10-man blob of knobs and a war boss.
Yes,
that is some real fun things in there.
This is still full. So we'll see what I do to answer with that. I'm going to be picking up both of these squads of Mortals back here, the Ophidians and the Lich Guard. It's time for the Lich Guard to get over and do some action. So, all right, we'll do some stuff with the Necrons, and we'll be back after the Necron turn. All right, so for my turn, I got Bring It Down and Secure No Man's Land. I was a little concerned about Secure No Man's Land because I definitely needed to make sure some stuff happened by blowing up this truck in the middle. So first thing I did was shoot it with these Locust Destroyers, putting 2 solid wounds onto it, and it only having a 6-up invuln, and yeah, Kevin stuck both of them. So then the second squad of Locust shot in there and said, here, hold my beverage of adult consumption, and took it out. And then the Catan started picking up the knobs that were in it, and then finally stuck a charge, and Nightbringer and the T-Catan just ripped them to shreds. I spent a command point on the Lich to bring them in anywhere on the table within 3 inches. They were able to tag that objective so I can sticky it in my command phase if I hold it. As far as everything else, I did bring these Immortals back in, kind of just a little further they were, a little extra move. So we were able to draw a line of sight and fire over into this squad of boys that is no longer here. The boss remains with 2 wounds left. But the true MVPs of this turn, as far as damage was concerned, is right here. These guys dished out so much firepower. That 5-up crit, the re-rolls, everything was just way too much for the Orks to withstand. So we were able to kill them. The Storm Boys are OC1. The boss is also OC1. The Wraiths are OC2, and I did spend a command point to auto-pass their leadership. For my reanimation, I was just able to get a Wraith back to full, even if I didn't detect nobody healed him back. So it's where we finished off. And that is going to be the turn. I was able to get 9 points because of Bring It Down, blowing up the truck, as well as getting my 5 on Secure No Man's Land. So I made a good push on secondaries that turn and was able to clear the center. But I feel like there's the biggest and the bestest is he's getting hungry. He's salivating back there. He says, Nightbringer.
He's coming. He's coming. It is
Icon of Death.
It is time to declare the WOG.
He says, Icon of Death. Excuse me. I don't see a mirror. All right. We're going to pass this over to Kevin in the top of 3. All right. So Kevin has gone crazy forward now. Everything is up there. Everything is in. And Gaz came and got some Nightbringer. So at the end of the day over here, this little fight, Makari and Gaz hanging out, standing there, fighting the Icon of Death. He's left with 8 wounds, so he's not in a bad position. And next turn, he's going to be able to swing back again, and we'll see if he can dent them. He has devastating wounds, so he could get through on Makari. Tikatan over here has 5 wounds remaining after getting charged by the Beast Snagga boys. Mostly, a lot of it from the Beast boss. Being able to go anti-infantry and devastating wounds on the charge. Definitely
Anti-monster.
Anti-monster, thank you. Anti-monster 4-up on the devastating wounds was huge. Over here, Lichguard got picked up pretty hard by both the Beast Snagga boys and the, what are these guys called again?
The Squighawks.
Squighawk Riders. That's it. Oh my gosh. So that was a rough one over there. Over here, this tank came crashing through. It tank shocked. It beat up some Wraiths. And then the Squighawk Riders finished off the squad, leaving just the Technomancer alive. The Storm Boys were able to then cleanse, as they did over here as well.
And don't forget about the War Boss.
And the War Boss picked up 2 Ophidians and chose to leave the Ophidian out of combat. So the Ophidian said, yeah, I'm not doing that either. And these Lichguard aren't on the table. I'm going to be reanimating one. I should have put the other one away. So that is about it. Kevin, any thoughts on the turn?
Well, it was rough. Hopefully we can turn around in turn 4. This is going to be the turning point right here.
Now, I got to call you out on this one. Didn't you tell me?
Well, that's not how the dice rolled. It's a dice game, baby. That's all I can say.
All right. It's going to go on to the Necrons, bottom of 3. All right. Some things went bad, but some things went really well. We were able to move. We had Assassinate as well as deploy teleport homers this turn. I didn't go after deploy teleport homers. Instead, I kind of went to remove some assets. I picked up the Immortals, brought them down over here within 3 using that strat. I had them kind of like 5 inches away and just pasted the Storm Boys off there. So that's one of Kevin's cleanse units. So that's a big pickup, and also it takes the objective away. Over here, these Immortals followed suit, being able to pick up the Gretchen, hiding behind the wall, and then using the fire and fade mechanic of the Chronomancer to then move on to the objective, taking that way the home objective for later turns. Here at center, I charged the Lichguard into the Beast Snagga boys and was able to kill them. They fought on death and beat up the Catan a little bit. The Catan came back, finished off the Beast Snagga War Boss, but in return, ate some more wounds, going all the way down to 3. Gaz and Nightbringer at a standstill. Nightbringer was walled by Makari for all but the last attack, killing Makari off, so the War Boss will take the hit next turn. And since it's going into the Orc turn, Nightbringer will swing first, 7 wounds remaining. And then over here, the Ophidians reanimated one guy and scooted over to the Technomancer to get a full heal, and then removed the Storm Boy. Again, another asset, another fast asset. And the Technomancer ate one really good. So the Ophidians are probably going to go that similar direction into Kevin's turn, but we were able to score a 5 on Assassinate for picking up the Beast War Boss, and we've taken away some primaries. Kevin will get a 5 into his turn, and we're going to pass it over to him in the top of turn 4. All right, Orc turn 4. So you may notice someone is missing. The day has come.
So close.
The fight has happened. With 4 wounds remaining after a tank shock. Yeah, before we talk about this, we'll talk about everything else that happened. So, not a lot, actually. The War Boss over here, it's on 2 wounds. He rushed into here and was able to beat up 2 of the Locusts heartily. It was able to just make it to that Locust, but just outside of the objective. Even though Locust is 2, so he would have still held it. Then over here, the Beast Snagga boys finished off the Ophidians quite quickly, as did these Beast Snagga boys and the Beast Snagga boss guy, Knob, Squig. They finished off the last Locust. So we got 1 Locust Destroyer left on the table. But here at center, the tank came screaming in with a tank shock, did mortal wounds, swung in, and then the Nightbringer with 2 brutal slices did 14 wounds to Gaz to send Gaz away. And that's where we're at right now. Also, the Battle Wagon put a ton of shots into the T-Catan, dropping it down 2 wounds, getting really, really scary on how close that thing is getting to death. So no secondaries scored this round. A lot of carnage. Looks like I'm going to lose my home field objective here, but I'm taking Kevin. So we got a bit of a trade over there. Kevin took my corner objective, and I said, well, here, I'll take this one over here. So there's been a back and forth trading. A lot of it's just coming down to the center field, and the dropping of Gaz might be the thing to tip the scale. All right, Necron turn 4. All right, so this was a big scoring turn for the Necrons. First of all, we started off by scoring 15 points because we held still sticky our home field objective. We had the middle and the newly acquired Kevin's home field Orc objective. During the turn was rather simple. I got no prisoners, and I had deployed teleport homers, so the squad that was hanging out in the backfield just went back and deployed teleport homers for an easy 5 points. And then as far as no prisoners, well, after the Nightbringer's gaze, after the Catan shooting, after a charge, the Battle Wagon is no more. However, he went out swinging, and he blew up, and well, there you can see, left his mark on the Catans. We did pick up the Lich Guard because I didn't want to lose my home field objective, so I spent the command point to drop them within 3 inches of the War Boss, who the Locust Lord failed his command shock, his battle shock, but made it out. He rolled a 4 for his Desperate Breakout, and he head for the hills, scared coward. So that is going to be the end of the turn. We're going to pass it over to Orc turn 5, which I think we're just going to be doing some kind of wrap-ups here, because there is not too much remaining into this game after scoring 10 on primary, or 15 on primary, 10 on secondary. All right, so we kind of just shimmied through everything, and I was a merciful overlord in this matchup. So Kevin came for glory, came for guts, and rushed in here to Lich Guard, and that War Boss did some damage. He actually dropped it down to just the Lich Guard and Trazen, but Trazen on pin all game, sustaining every time he fought, was able to finish off the Lord. They passed their battle shock and res 2 Lich Guard back on a 3 into my turn. For my secondaries, I drew Area Denial, as well as, what was the other one over there? Capture Enemy Outpost, which, mission complete. And then over here, we already had this objective. Didn't really need it very much. And then we had the center completely held. And this Locust Lord, these Locusts, it's a sad thing. I got to admit, Lane was right, because he asked me, he's like, man, if you just put a 3rd one in there, won't they reanimate? Here I am, end of game. I reanimated a Locust. Even though it's got 1 wound left, I still reanimated a Locust. But I was merciful. These Squig Hogs went to hide. They're going to wait for a rock to come pick them up or something. And that is going to be the game, giving us a final score of Orks 53, Necrons. Actually, I have to look real quick. because it'll be Necrons 95, because I actually didn't count the fact that I scored 8 on that last one. But it'll be Necrons 95, Orks 53. Oh, what a game. A lot of Orks. A lot of Orks got crushed, but there is the moral of this story is only one thing. The cage, the lucky Grot, stays with Tim's Nation again. Guys, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon.